Hey, this is Fred of Rapid Topography. We're going to take a trip from Glendale, California to Bakersfield, California. And as you can see, it's going to get dark while we're driving. All right, so here we are starting at the Glendale Galleria. And we are on Galleria Way northbound. So you can see it's kind of late afternoon here. And we're turning on to Broadway. North Broadway, we got the big ball of sun in front of us for just a little bit. We won't have to see that too much longer just after we get to, our next stop is going to be past Pacific here. We're actually going to go to San Fernando Road. And the reason is because there was a lot of traffic already on the 134, so I didn't want to go on that. We'd spent a day just hanging around both Burbank and Glendale. And my better half likes to shop, and so she was checking out what was going on in the Galleria and at the Americana. Really nice mall there, that double mall there. All right, so we're going on San Fernando Road northbound. This is also the former US Route 99, US Route 99, and we're right now going through Glendale. That's the 134 in front of us. Now going eastbound, it looks pretty good. I thought I saw a couple cars going westbound that looked like they were going pretty fast, but it was still probably prudent to do this because somewhere along the connection with the 5 would get a little crazy probably. So here we go. On our left is getting to the place where there's DreamWorks, the entire DreamWorks campus, and then there's a lot of Disney stuff still there. WDI, Walt Disney Imagineering, which is the former WED Enterprises, is there, and you have a lot of consumer products for Disney there, and also the animation archives are there, and they call it the Animation Research Library, actually. I worked on Pocahontas there. It was one of my first productions once I went to animation. It was on Rodeo Drive now, or Rodeo Street. It's now Circle 7 Drive. The buildings we were in were Hart and Dannon. They were connected buildings. And it was interesting because it had been a former casket manufacturing place or shop, but now we're going through the kind of the north part of Glendale into Burbank right there. So I think Spasier is the street that separates them right when you're along here. There's a lot of gerrymandering as you go along this part of the border. Unlike if you saw one of my recent videos, I was talking about Clybourne Street in Burbank. That's just a straight line almost, except for one block. The boundary between Burbank and Glendale on this side does a lot of zigzagging. That was Alameda Avenue. A lot of industry shops here. There's also a lot of apartments. Now we're turning on to, Angelino, that's right, Angelino Avenue. The reason I'm doing this is because the 99 gets terminated, or San Fernando Road gets terminated, or truncated, I should say, right at Magnolia, because the mall sits right on top of it. Like, it just, when they built that Burbank Village Mall, it just sat right on top of San Fernando Road, so you have to figure out a way around. I usually do this way, going past the police department. And there's, I think that was Magnolia. So the mall's to our left right now. Glen Oaks is to our right. And I'm heading to Burbank Boulevard, just a good way to get down, back onto San Fernando Road. Here's Burbank Boulevard. And then we're going to go on San Fernando Boulevard here. In Burbank, it's called San Fernando Boulevard, but everywhere else, it's San Fernando Road. That was just like a little city thing they did. Used to be a Kmart on the right. That's gone now. And I think there's a Shakey's Pizza. Oh no, I guess it's Popeyes now. Oh, there's Shakey's right there. And then we stopped here to get a Tommy's Burger. So that's why we just faded into a little bit further into dusk, because we got hungry and went to Tommy Burgers. We're human. What can we do? And it was nice to sit outside that night too, or that evening. Just sat out and had a burger and some fries. All right, this is called the Turkey Trot, actually, that got rebuilt, because all the while I was living in Burbank, which was like 21 years, this was closed. So the San Fernando Road was truncated by the 5 freeway. And it used to not be a long time ago, but then they covered over for the last 30 years or whatever. And then now they just open it up again, which is great. Now we're on the Interstate 5 northbound. Nice night tonight. It was a little smoggy today. It wasn't as bad as another day I went. Another day I went and it was incredibly smoggy, which I think I have a video of. And then we're in the carpool lane here. Woodbury University is to our right. And the Burbank Airport we've passed already on our left. And now we're passing through Sun Valley. Just a nice night to drive. One of the things I like doing is driving back to Bakersfield from the LA area when it's evening. Once the traffic's all done, it's actually pretty nice. Especially when you get up into the whole Ridge Route area, because it's really just like cruise control all the way and just kick back. We're passing the 170, that's the California State Route 170, the Hollywood Freeway. And we're now in Pacoima and Arleta. Arleta on our left side, Pacoima on our right. You can see the sun is kind of fading off there, the light from the sun. And then we're coming to another interchange soon. This will be the 118, California State Route 118. Takes you out to Sylmar Valley. Also connects to the 210 on our right. And then starting just under here, we're in the city of San Fernando on the right. And now we're going through, I think it's Mission Hills here. And the 405 is going to be coming under us and joining us. That was a little bump we went over, was actually the overpass over the 405. So they're joining in on the right here. You can see some airplanes probably going to land. Well, it looks like one's going the other way and one's going to be coming into probably Burbank Airport or Van Nuys Airport. And then the last, not the last, but another interchange we're going to hit here is the 210. Interstate 210 starts here and goes way out to the 215 near like Big Bear and all that. Probably can't see it now, but the water, the California Aqueduct comes down the hill coming up here on the right, but I think it's just too dark. So we're in the Newhall Grade. Starting to go up. Now on the right side, San Fernando Road is to our left, and then it goes under this freeway and becomes Sierra Highway. And a really old route, when it was the ridge route, just as I think it was just before they were building the ridge route, there was a cut in the hill to our left, to our right now. It's now off camera. And it's called Beals Cut. So if you look it up, you can see that it's actually, they cut this huge, like, just really like vertical cut into a mountain. And, you know, like wagons and stuff could pass through. So if you see it now, it's filled in a lot. Well, I saw it, I first discovered it like 20 years ago, just myself, after reading a book, and it was still pretty well intact, although it had collapsed a little bit, but now it's even more. But you can still find it. It's not really easy to park on Sierra Highway to find it, but I've walked actually all the way through it, way back when. It's just interesting. And then they built the ridge route after that, in 1915, but that was like the first means of people starting to get over into like either the Antelope Valley or, you know, get over eventually into the Central Valley. Now we're still going down from Newhall, entering into the Santa Clarita area here. I've said this or put subtitles in other videos that when I was a kid, a lot of this was ranch land. So I remember like 1970 going through here. We'd go to Sequoia, my parents and I, and we'd be taking the old 99. So this 5 wasn't built, but it was kind of still going through a lot of this area here. And it was a lot of ranches here. I just remember horses grazing and all that, and now it's just completely built up. It's amazing. There was also an area called the Indian Dunes, which was in Newhall there, so it was like a recreation area. All right, and we're starting to make our way now through Valencia. There's Magic Mountain. You can see the blue sign on the left there. Six Flags Magic Mountain. Haven't been there in a long time. I used to go there as a kid a lot. So we're starting to head now towards the scales. There are truck scales on the right coming up in about probably a mile, which will be like 15 seconds from now. Oh, there they are. So they weren't a mile. And so depending on how far trucks have gone, they may have to run through there, get weighed. And then we're coming across the 126 here. California State Route 126 will take you to Ventura, by the 101, by the beach, through Fillmore, or Moore Park. I can't remember. I have to look it up. If it's Fillmore or Moore Park that the 126 goes through. And now we're going through Castaic. The detention center is to the left here, I think, for people being detained criminally. And then you have a lot of truck services at these next two off-ramps. Pilot, a lot of, you know, fast food places, stuff like that. The first one I think is Parker Road, and then one's Castaic. I can't remember the order. I think this is Parker Road coming up right here. Yeah. And the next one will be Castaic. And you can take that road, the next one, to Castaic right here. Lake Castaic Lake. And there's, you know, boating. I've gone water skiing there. And we're starting up the Violin Canyon in a second. Here we go. So you can see the cars coming down on the other side, on the right side, which is really odd. There's not a lot of places in America where you have that. That is, as I've explained on a few videos, what we're going up right now was actually both the up and down side of US Route 99. And going down was very steep, because you can see it's pretty steep. Even going up is, everybody slows down here sometimes. They just kind of fan out, so it gets a little frustrating. But So what they did when they constructed the 5, they decided, let's put the downhill side on the other side of Violin Canyon, because the grade is it starts lower, it starts earlier, I should say, going south, and then has a lower grade all the way. So that's why we only go north on this side now and south on the other side. The lanes get flipped there, and then we just went over where they flip back. So now southbound is now back on our left side. Temple Highway's coming up. That's where you can go see the part of the old Route 99 that's still there. And you can take it for like 3 or 4 miles, and then you have to stop your car and walk, and you can walk it all the way to the bottom of the Pyramid Lake, or the dam. And it's pretty cool. I've done that several times. There's a bridge there, and there's a creek. It's really pretty. It's a nice walk. There's also other parts of the 99 that are still left. They're kind of, I've shot some videos showing there's like a crescent that we passed already that's kind of marooned on the right side. And then once you get past the lake, there's more old US 99 up until just past. It starts from the top of the lake, from the north side of the lake, and then ends right where, just past Smoky Bear Road. And then it gets covered over by this 5 here. So doing some night work there. I really do love driving this at night. I'll put on a podcast or a books on tape and just kind of get lost, and it's kind of hypnotic, to watch all these lanes go kind of ... And I really enjoy, like in my 90, it's usually about 100 minutes, it's about an hour 40 minutes to my house from here, from Burbank or those areas. I'll listen to a good portion of a book, or like different podcasts. It's just really cool. I love it. Now we should have, in the next curve, we should be about adjacent to where Pyramid Lake is, on our left. Meanwhile, the ridge route is meandering to our right. It started in Castaic and just kind of meanders, connects to Gorman Post Road, and then becomes, on the other side of the 5, becomes Lebec Road. And then there are little bits and pieces that are still present, extant, but they're not really drivable as you go down the Grapevine grade. So Pyramid Lake to our left, and also just when you get past that, you have Hungry Valley Recreation Area, which is the state park. It's really cool there. If you haven't gone in there, you should drive around there, especially if you have like a Jeep or something, or some kind of four-wheeler, because they have these things where you can like test, or like little obstacle courses. You can take your Jeep up and see if it'll go like over these rocks and stuff. It's all set up that way there. It's a lot of fun in there. You can watch people, on their quads and stuff, or their motorcycles doing stuff on the hills. And there's an exit. You can go all the way through it from here, and you'll end up by Gorman. So it's kind of like this is the southern exit, and there's a northern exit up by Gorman. I was surprised on this night that there were this many people driving, because it was I think it was a Tuesday night. And I was just surprised there were so many people driving. There's some times I've come through here and there's like just a few cars. But it's just really sporadic, It may be that everybody was coming back from a weekend vacation late tonight or something, and they're all coming from San Francisco, Sacramento or something. So this is the section that's kind of, you can't really call it the big lonely like Interstate 80, but it's this section between Smoky Bear Road and the 138. It's only about like 3 or 4 miles, but there's just really nothing. So you're just kind of floating along on this asphalt ribbon. Coming up, it's I didn't see what that sign said, but I think we're talking about the 138 here and Quail Lake Road. Interesting story, I'll try and make it fast. There was a lake off to our right, it was called Quail Lake. And what happened was, when they built the 5, they had to excavate a lot of dirt. They ended up draining the lake. And there's another lake just up the 138 by just 2 or 3 miles on the left if you're leaving this road here. And it was called Crane Lake. So what they did is they renamed it Quail Lake. I don't know why they needed to do that, but I guess because there's actually an off-ramp, like you just saw, there's still an off-ramp called Quail Lake Road, but it doesn't actually really take you to what used to be Crane Lake or Quail Lake. You'd have to go on the 138. So I don't know, it's just kind of weird, but yeah, just south of that interchange of Interstate 5 and the 138, there was a lake to the right, so it would be to the east of the freeway and south of the 138. And there's still like a big divot in there, but it just looks like it's really uneven, and you kind of wonder, well, how could there have been a lake there? Well, because before they did all this really major excavation, there was actually like a bowl there, but it's not there anymore. Passing by Gorman, California, Carl's Jr. McDonald's, and Chevron. And the first Ralph's was right up here on the right. Ralph's Supermarket, the first store that guy started, was right up here on the right, just past, when you get past that, Chevron. Doesn't exist anymore, but obviously the family did pretty well. And then we're coming over the top of the thing here, the summit, 4,144 feet. We're in Kern County, and the other thing about this is definitely not the lowest point, the highest point around here, because Mount Pinos, if you get off here, right where this exit is, Fraser Mountain, and take it, I guess it'd be like southwest. If you just keep going, you'll end up at this cul-de-sac. It's Mount Pinos, and we've done that. You hike up for about maybe 45 minutes. You get to this very, very top, and it's got like a survey marker, Mount Pinos, and you can see, if it's a clear day, you can see the entirety of the southern Central Valley. It's amazing. It's just a great peak up there. And it's just totally walkable, you know. Just kind of take your time, but it takes about 45 minutes. Now we're going through Lebec here, and Tejon Ranch, I think I just put up on the screen, it's all around us here. Tejon Ranch is so big. I think I mentioned on one of my other driving videos that Tejon Ranch is actually traded on the stock exchange. It's TRC, Tejon Ranch Company. It's always around like, well, I actually shouldn't say because I don't remember now, but a few years ago when I looked at it, it was like $24 a share or something, but it doesn't move much. But I know they're thinking about developing up here, so I don't know if that'll affect the price at all. But this ranch is so huge, it's really humongous. And as soon as we pass like the school down here, which is coming up on the right, I think we did already, sorry, yeah, we did. We're descending the Grapevine grade now. You can see the flashing lights. There are 2 truck escape ramps. And one's going to be on the right and one's on the left. So if you're a trucker and you've never taken this before, the first escape ramp is on the right where these trucks are. It's coming up. You'll know by those flashing lights, and there's a ramp. It's like gravel, and you just turn your truck onto it and it'll stop it because it goes uphill. And the next one will be on the left, a little further down by another mile. But let's see. Let's look out for the one on the right first. It's coming out. Oh, I guess I missed it. Sorry. So it was back there. Sorry about that. Or maybe not. Let's see. Yeah, I think we missed the one on the right already. I don't see it. But the one on the left is coming up. You won't be going this fast because I've obviously sped up the video a little bit. So if you're in trouble, you'll see these things. The one on the left is coming up soon now. It's right there. You can see it lit up in front of you. On the left now, it's slightly to the left. Yeah, so you would have gone up on the ramp and it just slows you down. The one on the right was like about a mile before. And now we can see the lights of the Central Valley. it's pretty big. I grew up in the San Fernando Valley and in the Hollywood Hills. So whenever I see this valley, it's like, how many San Fernando valleys can this valley eat up? It could be like hundreds probably. This valley is like 400 miles by, I don't know, like 60 miles average or something. I don't know. It's something like that. And it's very, very, you know, it's pretty flat. I just wrote some stuff on here, but I'll tell you. What I'm saying here is that the valley is like tilted towards Stockton, the entire valley from each side. So the southern Central Valley is called the San Joaquin Valley, and the northern part of the valley, north of the Sacramento River, is called the Sacramento Valley. So it all makes up this long oval called the Central Valley. There was a coastal range, which is still there, but the coastal range used to go, I think from the San Andreas Fault had created it. It used to go all the way up and down, and it held all this water in it. It was an inland sea, so it was basically Lake Corcoran. It was, I think, like 19,000 square miles or something crazy, maybe more than that. And up until about 400 years ago, it was just a huge lake. And in fact, if you go to the Museum of Natural History, at least the last time I was there, you know, by USC there, in downtown LA, the first thing you walk in there, there's this marine aquatic creature, like some bones of a dinosaur, right? It's from here. It was an aquatic creature that was in this lake they found. So what happened was about somewhere between like 400,000, 500,000 years ago, the part of the coastal range that held the water in near Stockton, it ruptured. And they think it was pretty catastrophic. It happened quickly, and it basically formed the entire bay. They call it the Carquinez Strait, but it's that entire like waterway from Stockton all the way to the San Francisco, you know, Bay, and the Golden Gate Bridge just got carved out of there by all this water coming out. And if you would imagine how much water that would be, it's like, I think the only thing I've heard bigger than that is the Missoula floods. If you look that up, that was crazy too, apparently during one of the ice ages. But so much water came through that it carved out that whole area, and it left this land really fertile. So you have certain areas of California, like the Central Valley, Imperial Valley near the Salton Sea. I just did a video on the Oxnard area that probably had a lot of water at some point moving through it with rivers, whatever. And these areas that had a lot of water just created really, really fertile sediment. And that's why they're great for farming. And the California Central Valley just provides so much fruit and vegetables for the entire country. And but anyways, yeah, so that's the story of the great rupture of Corcoran Lake. So a few years ago, I think it was 2023, we had a lot of rains. And again, some of you may know or may not know that I did a video of Tulare Lake came back, which was a lake that naturally formed. It was a remnant of Corcoran Lake around Corcoran and Tulare in those areas that hadn't been seen for a while, because you have now dams like in Kings Canyon, Lake Isabella, for Kern River. There's all these dams now that hold the water in for, you know, for use in agriculture and irrigation. But every once in a while, if it rains way too much, they just have to let it out. And so Tulare Lake formed again. And so I took my video camera there and I showed it, and it really was like an ocean. Like, we could not see the other side. So in that, whatever, I don't know how many miles it was across, 15 miles, whatever, but there was enough curvature of the earth where we could not see the other side. It was crazy. So if you look, you can look at my channels. I have several channels, but I put most of that stuff on this channel when I drove up there, and also on the Elated Explorer. That's my other channel of kind of like exploring. And you'll see I did quite a few videos of that Tulare Lake. It was amazing to see it. I'd always heard about it, but I'd never actually seen it until 2023. So right now we're going north on California State Route 99. See what we're passing here? Couldn't see it too fast. But I think we're getting close to maybe Union Avenue. Yeah, that was Union Avenue, actually. Wow. Because I know that little curve after that. So Union Avenue was the old US 99, so that's where it went off to the right. And now this is the newer version that they laid for the California State Route 99. And so we're just trucking up towards the the Bakersfield area. We still have about like 5 or 6 miles, and then we'll be on the outskirts of it. This area is very agricultural here on either side. Sometimes you smell a little dairy, you know, like people say, oh, Bakersfield like stinks or whatever. They're going up to 5. That's because there are a lot of dairies out that way. There's not that many dairies right in Bakersfield, so you don't smell. But tonight I think I did smell a little bit of dairy. You know, it just depends on the wind. Most of the time though, if you're driving up the 5, you'll smell that stuff, and then people mistake that for Bakersfield because it's not. It's like 12 miles, you know, west of Bakersfield, or something like that, 15 miles. And but there's a lot of dairies out that way. And if you get to Santanella on the 5, you see Harris Ranch. One time I stopped and asked him how many cows they hold there. He told me they can hold up to 75,000 cows there at the Harris Ranch. And the Harris Ranch has like a restaurant and a really great gift shop. Like they've got all these like little tchotchkes and stuff, and then you can get meat. You know, you can get a lot of stuff there. You can, you know, and then you can sit down and eat. There's a restaurant, so it's fun. There's even like a little landing pad there, I guess, if you have a private plane. No such luck on my part, but anyways. So now the lanes have opened a little bit here. We're probably heading just into about where Panama Lane is. Panama Lane, there's a in and out. I didn't see what that said right there. If this is Panama Lane, I think it may be just before it. Oh yeah, that was okay. So Panama Lane's next. It's the next one. So this was like Hooten Road or something we just passed. And Panama Lane has your first in and out in the area. There are 3 in and outs around. So if you're just hungry, you need to get something, you want in and out, get off at Panama Lane here, and it's on the right. So you'd get wherever this next exit is. And the other 2 are off of California, which is a little harder if you don't know the area. And there's one off Rosedale, which is a little easier to get to. This is the closest one off the freeway, but the one at Rosedale, which you would see, we're not going to pass it because we don't get quite up there, but it says Rosedale Highway and 178, California State Route 178. You would get off there and make a left, go onto the freeway, and the in and out is about, I'd say, a mile to the left. I guess you can tell I like in and out. Okay, and now what we're doing is we're just past, I think, Ming Avenue. We're going to start heading to California State Route 58. Just like the biggest gift they ever gave to me, coming from LA all the time, is they made this. They connected this to the West Side Parkway, which is now the 58, and it makes it so much easier than what I used to have to do. Just go over this big ramp. Kind of reminds me of the 105 to the 110 ramp. It's not quite as high as that one. Like if you're going down the 110 from LA and you're going to go to Manhattan Beach, go over the 10 to 105. That overpass is so high you feel like you're in an airplane. But they call this the Centennial Corridor because it connects what wasn't before to what was. So the 99 to about where Truxton Avenue comes in, which is coming up here. So this is about where you'd enter the freeway when I used to have to get off and do this whole loop just to get back on. It's so much easier now. Cruise control all the way. Now what they're planning to do is this 58 is going to continue to the 5. They haven't started yet, but right now it ends at a place called Heath, and it connects to Stockdale Highway. But they're going to make it go dip south of Stockdale Highway. There's already like an opening between these houses, like the sets of houses where this freeway is going to go, and then it'll straighten out, go west, and hit the 5. So it's only going to be about a half mile south of Stockdale Highway. But right now it just ends. It's only about a mile and a half after I get off at my exit here. Coming into the last about mile of my drive here. It's really not such a hard drive when it's nighttime, like I said. It's harder in the daytime when there's a lot of traffic and trucks and stuff. And here we are. Put on speed brakes. In front of us is a big water bank. It's like a field that they sometimes flood if there's too much water, so they can hold a few million gallons of water in there. And that's it. Thanks for coming with me.
Me say meow meow.
If you like what you saw, please give the subscribe button a pop and check out another video here.